Hello and welcome to the Momentum Shift. I'm your host, C. Eric Collier, also known as the Mayor of Motivation. Excited to have you join us today. The Momentum Shift, as you know, is all about going from stuck to moving forward. And tonight's guest is someone who's going to help you basically understand her journey to use some of the tools, method, techniques, and how she operates in this world to move forward in her own journey. So please welcome my guest, Nancy Underwood. She's the executive director of the Backstretch Employee Service Team of New York, also known as BEST. It's a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting the health, well-being, and success of the men and women who work behind the scenes in thoroughbred racing. And with more than a decade of leadership experience at BEST, Nancy has helped expand access to healthcare, mental health counseling, recovery services, education, and community support for thousands of backstretch workers across Saratoga, Belmont Park, and Aqueduct. I'm learning, I got to work on that word, aqueduct. A simple belief drives her leadership, and I love it. She says, when we invest in people, entire communities become stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome our guest, Nancy Underwood. Nancy, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited, like I said, excited to have you join. We met a couple weeks ago. Has it been a couple weeks at the Preakness?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Time flies.
Belmont's this week, so
Yeah.
had to be a few weeks ago.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm excited to have you join. We hit it off. We had a great conversation as you tried to sneak in. No, I'm just kidding.
I did. I was starving to death. I'm telling you, food, it's a basic need. That's how you drew me in.
Yeah,
Like, listen,
yeah.
bud, we just need a little food.
But it was real cool. I really enjoyed talking with you. You had a great team with you as well. They were
Yeah.
just as cool as you are. So I can imagine the office and how things flow. So talk to me a little bit about, let's talk about this. The show is momentum shifting, and it's all about going from stuck to moving forward. I like to, I'm a big boxing fan. So
Oh,
when that guy's in the ring and he's just getting beat down, but he's still fighting, that's what I'm talking about, life. So talk to me a little bit about what momentum shifting means to you and how you've used it in your journey, whether it be career or your personal life.
well, thanks again for having me. So I think for me, I see myself as constantly evolving as well. And so I was pushed as a child to keep moving forward no matter what you're faced with. And I believe that today. So you have ups and downs in life. So for me, I believe that the ebb and flow of life is what makes life so beautiful. But you have to get out of that bottom part and realize you're going to be up there at the top again. It won't last forever. You're going to be down probably, but you have to be able to ride that. And so I live my life that way. I'm constantly evolving as a human. And so it makes caring for other people easier because I can see them as evolving. So I don't come in with the judgment of this is who you are right now and you're going to be this person forever because I've certainly changed before I had kids, after I had kids, different jobs, different life experiences, and I see them the same way.
Yeah.
And so I'm just so grateful to be able to do the work that I do and work with the humans that I work with. So but I'm evolving, I see them as evolving, and it's really just a wild ride. It really is.
One thing I read and I thought that was pretty cool when they chose you as the executive director of BEST, Backstretch Employee Services Team. I can't remember her name, but she said, we knew we wanted Nancy in this position. And so that says a lot about how you operate and how you care and take care of your people.
I think too, like I know that, like I said, nothing lasts forever. So
Yeah.
I came in 2024 after being 10 years as the program director, and I recognize that it's not forever, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has a shelf life. I know that I
Right.
have one as well. So I set my goals, and we have an amazing team. And so I want the staff to feel like they're learning so much and they could learn so much and go anywhere to work, right? But that they
Right.
choose to stay with us because we're doing the right thing. So I know that I have these goals and I want to make this program so strong so that the next person can come in and push it even forward. Where I think sometimes people get stuck, right? They think
Yeah.
this is who I am. I identify in this position. I don't identify myself as this position. I'm just a human
Right.
floating on this earth, right? Um, and I know that I'm going to make it great for the next person and they're going to be able to improve things that I didn't even see.
Yeah.
So you get people who are in a position and you think, I need to be here forever. I don't see that.
Right.
Hopefully somebody who works with me now is thinking, oh, I can do that, right?
I
And
like
so
it.
when I leave, they take that challenge and they can, because I've hopefully empowered them, just like we empower the men and women we work with.
Right.
They can do anything. It's not right now that matters. It's just how you handle it, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, I like it. So I like what you say there. I mean, it's totally true, right? Just operating who you are and what you believe in, and people start to connect with you, and you start, you know, helping people move forward. So tell us a little bit more about Backstretch and what you do, and a little bit about your background when we get to that point.
Okay. So we oversee the medical, mental health, social services, and addiction programming for the men and women who travel the racetrack circuit. So a lot of times they're the individuals who are toiling behind the scenes and they're not like up front in the spotlight, but they're doing the really hard work. And so, humans don't always pay attention to what they don't see. And so
Right.
other people don't really know what's happening on the backside. But they're some of the most amazing, hardworking humans I've had the privilege to work alongside in their journeys. And I'm really grateful for that. And the women and men who work with us, some of them have been there for 20 years.
Wow.
Some of them have been there. My LCSW, our licensed clinical social worker, this is her 23rd season
Really?
working on the backside in Saratoga. And you just think, like, health and human services is so hard and you have so much turnover. We don't. We
Yeah.
don't have that kind of turnover. We have people who are committed to the population, committed to the cause, and I think it's really a beautiful thing. So it makes my job to set goals and say, how are we going to move this organization forward? Pretty easy because
Yeah.
they're great. I mean, so the men and women who work on the backside are the grooms, the hot walkers, the exercise riders, the foremen, the night watchmen. And so basically, we try to create a safe space for people who maybe haven't had access to formalized health care, or maybe people who have had a little bit of a thought process or a stigma about mental health services, and
Right.
really to open that up to, culturally, a lot of them are like, I don't need that. But to kind of, be there for them when they decide, actually, maybe I do need that. So we've increased utilization. We have many more people coming in for mental health treatment. Could be short term, like,
Right.
there's a lot of separation and loneliness. So they have family in other countries and they're making this sacrifice to provide for their families, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So I also like to flip the switch on that a little bit, because oftentimes people will look at them and say, the poor people, look at the poor people back there taking care of the horses, when
Yeah.
you're robbing them of the dignity of what they're doing. So you have
Right.
men and women who have left their families, right? And
Yes.
for this opportunity, and they are working six,
Right.
7 days a week, many hours, taking care of animals that they love, sending money home to
Yeah.
their families so they can provide a life that they otherwise would not have had.
That's
Like, holy smokes.
yeah,
Like,
that's big.
can I live in that setting and do that away from my family? No, way too
Right.
much of a control freak about how my house is running, right? But they are sitting there and they are working day in and day out away from the people they love the most in the world.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
I think
pretty,
that's I'm
pretty
sorry.
impressive.
Yeah, it is. I think I saw on your site, the, young lady said she was been separated from her family for 10 years. I mean, that's huge. I was in the military, and I didn't wanna be gone 6 months. So, I'm like, "Hold on a second, 10 years is huge."
Huge, huge.
Yeah.
And, they're paying taxes into a system that many of them won't reap the benefits of, because we're a pretty highly regulated industry. And
Yeah.
so in New York in particular, they have to be licensed and
Mhm.
have to do the right thing. And yeah, it's just, when I look at them, I don't think, oh, poor people. Look at the poor
Yeah,
people. I
yeah,
think, holy cow.
yeah.
Like, that is some serious love you have
Right.
for the people in your life.
Yeah.
And it's so empowering to think of it that way.
I just like to get to know people. I just like to see what makes them tick. I always it's like, if I say hello, it's with the purpose of sometimes just first of all getting to know you, but sometimes I believe we get caught up in the monotony of our day and our life, and saying hello can kind of free us up to talk about the things we love. So that's I like that piece.
Yeah, me too. You hear
Yeah.
so many amazing stories, and we have a community garden. I'm not
Yeah.
a gardener. I don't know if you can tell that or not.
It looks
Can't even
good.
keep
Looks
can't
great.
even can't even keep a house plant alive. Um, but we have this local community garden that they bring plants to us every year, and we give them out. They make their own little private gardens, but we created this community garden to kind of do some diabetic education with our clinic and healthy eating. Um, and man, one day it was the end of the day and we had plants, and I was like, oh, somebody needs to put these plants in the ground.
Right.
So I went out to the garden and I'm like digging, and these women came out of the dormitory and they're like yelling at me in Spanish, saying, "Don't do that. What are you doing?" in Spanish. And I'm like, they gotta, and they're like, "You can't do that now. You're gonna kill everything."
Right.
And I'm like, "All right, I'm out, girls. I'm out." But like,
Just trying to
there's
help.
so many of them are master gardeners. They,
Okay.
were working on farms in their home countries, and they are super smart and they
Right.
can make it work. And here I am, like in the middle of the day with high sun, I'm like
Right.
planting things, killing all their plants. But
Well, at least
um
you meant some good.
yes, I did. I was trying to help and clean things up,
Yeah,
get it
yeah.
in the ground. But yeah, so I have a funny story actually, that somebody in town, well intentioned, Saratoga is a pretty affluent community.
Uh,
And so they were like, we want to have community gardens and we want to teach them how to garden. And so we're going to come over there and we're going to plant gardens. And I was like, first of all, how about I bring them to your house?
right,
Because I'm pretty sure the men and women who work here could teach you a thing or two.
right.
But it's just well-intentioned people not understanding. Like these
Yeah,
are professional men and women living
yeah.
back there.
Like,
Um,
a little lettuce and cabbage you put in the backyard, that's nothing
it's
compared to
not,
what they can
it's
do.
not. So I actually thought one year, a couple years ago with the community garden, I was like, oh, we have the worst garden ever, because I would get there at 8:30 and they
Uh,
get up at 4 a.m. to go to work.
right.
So I was there and I'm like, there's never any plants. Like it's
Yeah.
not growing, but they were going early, early in the morning and picking stuff. So when I would get there, I'd be like, I can't believe this. Like we have the worst garden ever.
Upset.
And one of the girls told me, they're like, you're just late. Like we're already picking everything before you get here. I was like, oh,
Like, you're feeling defeated. "Oh my gosh. It was
seriously.
such a great idea, but it's not working. A
Yeah,
failure."
terrible. But I mean, those are the moments for me. So listen, I'm the executive director and a $2.2 million nonprofit, right?
Yeah.
2.3 million.
Wow.
And it's a small, it's a small community. I
Yeah,
have the great fortune of being able to be right there where they live and work
yeah,
and to grow relationships with them. So we know when something's going on. It's different than the greater community, right? Because you have tons of health and human service agencies and people who are providing care, but we're not
uh-huh,
walking into your house. You don't want
yeah,
us in your house. You know what I mean?
right,
We're
right,
here, they're outside cooking, they're in the community garden, they're coming in, they're at our clinic.
yeah,
We're able to get to know them on a different level. And so I think that the care is so much better
yeah,
because we know them. And
yeah.
if you go to a community health center, you may get a different doctor every time. You
Yes,
walk into my office, they've been there 20 years.
nice.
They know you and they know your kid.
Yeah.
So get it together. We're gonna make
You
some
know,
changes.
that's something I didn't realize when we were talking. I just thought you were in control of a program. I didn't realize it's an actual center and with a lab and everything like that. You guys are that's big.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't
we
know.
have
I just thought it was like all right, we have meetings and we have different programs, but you guys are bigger than that.
Yeah, we're right on property. So we have a primary healthcare facility at Saratoga. We contract with Saratoga Hospital. We
Yeah,
have a primary healthcare facility at beautiful Belmont Park,
yeah,
and we contract with Northwell Health. And so it's a walk-in clinic right there on the
yeah,
daily. They're saying, "Hey, listen, I'm really worried about this person. Can you do a check-in this weekend or make sure that they're getting up and going to work or their diabetes is out of control?
yeah.
Let's make sure they're okay." In the greater community, don't get that. So there
No,
there are some public health programs like Costa Rica, for example. They are assigned a community. So you have a doctor, an administrator, a nurse, and they actually get to know those families.
wow.
I
Okay,
mean, we have such a huge country, I can't see that happening, but they kind of follow them through life. And that's kind of what we do on the backstretch.
nice.
It looks pretty huge to the outside world, but it's a pretty small community. We know. We
Yeah.
know.
We know. You told me that, but that's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
like you guys are all cool. So it was pretty nice meeting the three
Yeah.
people that I met on the team. So talk to me a little bit about how you came to Best. How did you connect with them? Is this something like was your journey? Like you were like, I want to get with this program at the track.
No. So I'm not a track person. Like I said, I'm a human person.
Yeah.
So my life has been spent in education and health and human services. So
Okay.
I actually was a teacher and a special
Okay.
educator, and then I was a school administrator. That's that ebb and flow of life, you
Yeah.
know. And I ran a school in Vermont. And when my father passed away in 2010, I moved back to New York. And I
Okay.
was kind of like, what am I going to do? You know,
Right.
because you can do anything. I
Yeah.
love to tell everybody you could do anything, you know. And I started working as a case manager through the New York State Office of Mental Health. So I case managed the most psychiatrically ill kids and families within our county. And
Okay.
so I did home visits. I advocated for them on the education level, mental health services. And basically, you're looking at this kid, and this was the highest level of care within the community, and
Yeah.
trying to say, is it reasonable to keep this kid at home? How do we keep this kid at home versus sending him to another program?
Right.
Um, and so I did that for a long time, and I loved that job. When I say I loved that job, I loved my colleagues, I loved
Yeah.
those families. Um, and I was looking for a job for a client's mother
Uh-huh.
online, and I saw this job posted, and I was like, I'm super nosy. Like, I know all the services in this entire area, and I've never heard of anything happening on the racetrack.
Yeah.
So I actually called and I said, hey, I kind of want to know what you guys are doing back there, right? Because I'm nosy.
Right.
And I'm like, how do I not know, right?
Do
I'm
you
a
know who I
Capricorn.
am?
I'm a Capricorn, so I make it my business to know.
Yeah. All right.
And so I was speaking to the then executive director, and he was like, I'd love to meet you. And I said, listen, I want to meet you too, and I want to see your program, but I don't want a job. Like,
Yeah.
I love my job. I'm not here for a job. And he's like, okay. So he's like, I'm coming up from downstate. So I
He's
met
like,
him.
shh, I got her.
Yeah, I met him. I'm like, I don't want that. So he showed me the program. I met with him, and then he called me and he said, I'd really like you to send me your resume. And I was like, I don't want a job, dude.
Right.
Like, I am happy. And so we had one more meeting, and I was like, "Ah, I'll send you my resume." So I ended up running the Saratoga program for 10 years.
Yeah.
Um, and it was amazing,
That
such an
says a lot
amazing
about
time.
you, though. I mean, he just blew him away, even though you didn't want the
I
job.
don't want the job. I mean, I don't want this job either, but I have it.
But
I'd love
mom,
to just be sitting on the water thinking about what I've done.
there we go, right on the beach. You like toes in the sand, kicking back,
Yeah,
blue
well, that was a
water,
wild
loving
ride,
it.
you know?
But mom always
Um,
says the cream rises to the top, so you can't hide.
I know, I tried. So, and wild enough, I was actually ready to move on. I
Yeah.
was looking for other jobs and had some interviews lined up. And I called our board co-chair and I said, I feel like I'm cheating on you. I just want to be honest. Like I'm ready to
Oh,
do
you wanted to leave
something.
best.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was just ready to try something else. And she
Yeah.
was like, don't do it yet. And I was like, I'm already interviewing. And then the executive director was retiring. And
Yeah.
so she was like, don't do it. So then here I am,
That's cool.
but with a shelf life,
Yeah,
with a
it's a
shelf
shelf
life.
life.
You
Exactly.
know,
Everything's it seasons for reasons is what they say, right?
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I mean,
So,
there you are, a big aha moment or opportunity that you could have said no and stayed where you were, but you said yes. I think that's a big piece where people don't realize like there's something more. And we don't really know what the plan is. I always say my plan isn't the plan. So when the opportunity presents itself, you got to step into it and see what happens. So I
yeah,
think that's big that you did that.
yeah.
Because
I mean, and
did you have to move your family and everything as well?
oh no, I mean, I
Okay.
travel to Long Island a couple weeks out of the year. My kids are all gone. I have an almost 29-year-old and a 21-year-old
Oh,
who will
sweet.
be full time active duty in a year when he
Okay.
graduates.
What
So
service?
in the army. So
Army, okay.
he's actually doing this is actually the proudest. Like my family
Uh,
is the thing that I'm proudest of.
yeah.
So um my oldest works for a company called Oracle. He's in Florida. He's never coming
Heard of that
back to New
company.
York. Yeah, it's a good company. And then the baby, the 21-year-old who's like 220 pounds and a big kid, a little baby,
Yeah.
he is doing a simultaneous military program. So he is enlisted in the Virginia National Guard and he's in Army ROTC. So he'll
Nice.
be doing his advanced camp out at Fort Knox this summer. And I'm just super proud of both of them, and they're
Nice.
just such solid humans. And I it's the same thing. Like, I want them to understand life is the ride, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna hit some really low points where you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but you
Yeah.
have to trust and believe that you are
Yes.
in the right moment at the right time, no matter how bad it feels. Like, you think this is going to kill me, but it
Right.
never does. Like, you're just like, you
Spot
can
on.
wallow in it, right?
Yeah.
But you have the opportunity to just keep going. You just have to keep going.
Yeah.
And that's what I want for them and everybody that I work with. Like, man, this really sucks, right? Like, whew,
Yeah.
this is
I
bad
like it. It's
because you
like
have
how
so
you
many
respond
people.
to it is the
Yeah,
key. Yeah.
yeah, because there are two thoughts in psychology, right? You've got Freud, who blames everything on the parent, and then who's the other one? There's another one,
Oh, no, you got me on that one.
and that I'm gonna look it up. We need to
Uh,
we need to have that
look,
because
I'm
it's
thinking Darwin, but
nope, definitely not Darwin. That nope. But Adams, we
yeah,
should look that up. But anyway,
what
so
is
you
it?
have the two thoughts, right? The one that everything that happened to you is someone else's fault,
Right.
right? And then the other thought is, this is happening to you. What are you going to do with it, right? Like,
Yes.
we're going to move on.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
country as a whole really focuses on Freud. And
yeah.
let's talk about what happened to you as a child. I don't want to talk about that anymore,
Right,
right?
right. Let's let that go.
Like, my brothers used to hit me in the face with a football so I wouldn't play with them. And I'd be like, I'm playing. Like, you're not getting rid of it. I would go inside and cry first.
Right.
Come back out like I'm
I'm coming
good.
out kicking your butts.
Yeah, that's right. So I mean, I think we need to shift. I think we
Yeah,
need to shift from, oh, look what happened. You can feel that. You
yeah.
can, like, that happened to me. That's
Right.
real.
Yeah,
But we're moving on. We're all
yeah.
moving on.
And look, and if you start focusing on, oh, woe is me, woe is me, I don't want to, I can't be around that too much. I have to move on. I can only
Hard.
put out so much effort. I can't make you move on. You have to move on
Yeah,
forward because that's too much for me. I have to
me
move,
too.
be holding you
Yeah.
back. I always say that we try to keep the negativity out of our lives. I think one of the concepts that was given to me was 17 to 1. So one negative thought, 17 positive to replace it. That's a kind of a
Wow.
mindset. Yeah. And so if you think about it, where we go when we start spiraling about the woe is me, we can get buried. I think what I say, become a bag person, right? We're a bag lady or a bag man. We just carry around all that negativity. So anyway, I like to move on from that.
Yeah, it's hard though. I mean,
It is.
again, I am a Capricorn, and
Yeah, yeah.
so we're planners, and we're like, it didn't work. We're going to do the next thing.
Yeah.
Um, Not everybody's like that though,
Yeah.
and so the first step, I think, when working with our clients is always just listening. A lot of
Yeah.
times people just, they need to be heard. You can hear it, but then
Yeah.
we're going to make a plan after that.
I like that.
So
Like, what do you, that's always my response to people say, I say, well, how you doing? He said, well, I can't complain. All right. Well, I will allow you to complain. But my next question is, what are you going to do about
yeah, yeah,
it?
same. That's how I run my life. That
Yeah.
is. So yeah.
I love it. So parenthood, like
Oof.
so you're talking, we're around our kids. I've got three and I've got six grandkids. And I truly enjoy being a grandparent. It's so much easier.
I can't wait. I mean, I can wait, but I can't wait.
Yeah. But it's a challenge. So when you talk about the people who are working in your team that's working in the groomers and the walkers that are working in the backstretch, and they're trying to connect with their families, how do you help them keep in touch and keep their spirits up and keep them moving forward?
So we used to have a computer lab where people would Skype home, and we do
Okay.
like the little headphones and stuff. That's how long I've been there. And we
Yes.
would pay for the Skype coins or whatever, and then we
Yeah.
would have to like constantly rotate. But everybody has a phone now, and
Yeah.
they all have little iPads and ways to connect, and we have free Wi-Fi for them if
Yeah.
they need to. For the people who live in the States, the race industry does something really cool. So the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association will bus families to Saratoga because Saratoga is very expensive.
Okay.
And so if you have families downstate on Long Island, you're not going to pay for rent on Long Island and then come up and rent something in Saratoga.
Got
I
you.
mean, like, the service workers and the people in Saratoga don't tend to live in Saratoga because it's so expensive.
Okay.
So the Horsemen's Association buses the families up throughout the Saratoga racing meet. So it
Yeah.
runs from April through November to try to keep people connected with their families. That's for the local families.
Right.
Um, Another interesting thing about the backstretch in New York in particular is even if they're married, they don't live together. So
Okay.
men and women do not cohabitate on the backside.
Okay.
So we have 750 dormitories on the backside, and they're all separated by gender.
I would never
Um,
think it was that big.
it's huge. It's huge. Yeah,
That
it's
is,
pretty huge.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so you should definitely come up. I mean, I think you
Yeah.
would really love it.
I want to. I'm coming up. I'm a Yankees fan, so I'm coming up for a Yankees game. I mean, the best ball club in America. So coming up for a game. I don't know how far Saratoga is from there, but
So we're about 3.5 hours from the city.
really,
So
okay.
when you're looking at the families being separated, they're separated by hours. But a lot
Okay.
of, people are separated by countries,
All right. Yes, that's true.
so
Yeah.
they're coming in on a 10-month visa and then they're going home. I love this story. I had a guy who had worked for 11 years on the backstretch. He was able to
Yeah.
purchase a home and a car
Wow.
in Guatemala, and he went back and retired to a life that they would otherwise never had, right?
Wow.
But you think about that sacrifice for those years. So his mom was living with him, like he was
Yeah.
so proud.
Wow.
Um, and then on the other end, we do with its failures in different ways have an amazing medical system. And so
Yeah.
we had a young kid who came in and his eye was like atrophied, and he lived in the mountains of Guatemala and he had never gone to a doctor. Well, we were able to get him a prosthetic eye. He called his mom, he was
Right.
FaceTiming, like
Look at
changed
this.
his whole life. I mean,
His
went through the
confidence
entire,
level.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty cool, right? Like
Yeah.
you can change someone's life just,
Yeah.
by figuring out what they need.
Yeah,
So,
that's big.
yeah.
Like, so I wanted to touch on, like I said, we talk a lot about what you're doing, but one of the things I always like to share too is like, what are some of the habits and behaviors you've incorporated in your life to keep you moving when you feel like you're stuck in what I call mental quicksand, or you're just kind of like questioning your next move?
It's accountability,
Yeah,
100% accountability. In our house, we hold each other accountable.
I
So
love
if
it.
I'm in a foul mood, my kid is like, okay, I'm not, you know what? I'm not in control of your emotions, but you need to check yourself
Yeah,
because whatever's going on is bleeding into what's happening here. So
yeah.
it's the accountability and it's like the need to continue to move forward. I mean,
Mhm.
you experience it's crazy as you age, like the loss of your parents and the
Mhm.
loss of friends and things that you think are just like so devastating, but you owe it to them and to yourself to keep moving. Like when my father passed away, it was the most earth shattering experience of my life. He was my absolute best friend. I could call him, he would be there in minutes, and I felt invincible.
Yeah.
And you lose that person and you think, like,
Oh,
what is this world? Like, how do I continue in this world? But then you think, this man wanted me to be strong. He wanted me to be filled with love for our families. And he did not want me to wallow in
right.
anything,
Yeah.
And so I take that and it's like, that's what I want for my kids, because but as you age, you experience these things and you think, I can't go on. But you
Yeah.
do.
You
But you
do. Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so sometimes you need somebody to kick you right in the rear to get moving. It's that
Mhm.
accountability. It
So,
really is.
so would you like, is your dad like the big mentor of yours, or is there somebody else that you connected with who kind of helped you figure out things out?
It was my dad
Yeah.
100%. He was a Marine and he
Yeah.
fought in Vietnam and he was no joke. I mean,
Yeah.
he would tell me to clean my room, clean my room. I came home one day and I'm very neat and tidy now. But as a teenage girl, I'm like, maybe not so much. He took all of my things and threw them away. He literally threw them away.
That's
I don't
right.
own those. I don't own those things anymore, right? He told me, clean it up.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right, there's a consequence to our choices, right? Like, and I
Yeah.
had to live with that. And there was no conversation. It
Yeah.
was not like, but it was that consistency,
Hmm.
and that desire for me to keep going. He had a hard life, and
Yeah.
that man was the most joyful. He would wake up, rise and shine, sunshine every single day, and I'm like, get out. And here's a man who was a Marine in
Yeah.
Vietnam. He
Yeah.
saw some things. He
Yes.
experienced some trauma, some pain, and he kept going. Who would
Yeah.
I? Because I drove my car into a concrete pole the other day
Oh,
when
right.
I was trying to park. I just hit
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Who am I to be like, oh, my day's so bad? Like,
Yeah.
no, my day's not bad.
It's just a moment in time.
Yeah, my car's
Yeah.
a little dented, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Like, oh man.
And so, and even, my grandfather was in the, maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what it was. My grandfather was in the military, my
Okay.
uncles
Oh
were in the
wow. So you're
military.
keeping it going. Your son's keeping it going.
He is, he
Yeah.
is. So, but I mean, it was that kind of stick to itness and tenacity that I got from my father.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to stop me but
Right.
me, and I'm
Right.
not stopping.
I like it. You got to have that mindset, right? Because if not, so many people, we always talk about, so many people are out there to stop you from moving forward
They
with their
try.
great advice, right? Do you realize how hard that's going to be? Do you realize the risk that you're
Yeah.
taking? We don't need all that. We just, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. I hear you. Thank you. I've got to move forward.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just winning. Who
Yeah,
was
that
that
was
that
good.
said that? Oh,
Charlie
Charlie
Sheen.
Sheen. I'm winning.
Winning.
Minus the drugs.
Yes, there we go. Right. I
I'm
love
winning
it.
sober. So I
I
think
love
that's difficult to watch too, is, the kids with, I don't know, you're in Baltimore, right? You're in Maryland?
just outside of Baltimore.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have legalized marijuana there.
Yes, yes, you smell it
Yeah,
everywhere.
everywhere, like driving down the highway, it's coming in your car. These kids, they don't have the self-regulation, right? So they're
Right.
smoking all day, every
Yes.
day, and they're
Yeah.
like just being zombies. It's like, I just want to save them.
Yeah. We
I
we
do.
mentored at high schools and we're in there at 9 o'clock. You're coming into school high at 9 o'clock. What's going on? Like that's so what are you trying to accomplish or what are you trying to get away from? And that's a big, big, big question there.
You see a lot of adults doing it too now, and it's
Yeah.
like for some reason, it's not acceptable to be drunk at 9 a.m., but
Right.
it's acceptable to be high.
Right.
I
Mhm.
mean, that's a question I
Yeah.
can't quite figure out.
Yeah.
So, I'd like some conversations to start happening about that because they're just living through life, with I don't know what you would call it, like a
Yeah.
shield kind of, and not really seeing or experiencing the amazingness that is actually happening all
Yeah.
around us.
What
So,
are so you've worked with parents and kids. What's some of the advice that you have for the parent that's because my parents split when I was 4, and so watching my mom work 2, 3 jobs and away at night, and we're at home. How do you keep those parents focused on, hey, you know, keep going, keep moving forward?
so I'm going to tell you, I was in Chicago this weekend and I was in an Uber, and I just know I was in the right place, and it was a mom.
Oh, okay.
And she has two 5-year-old, she has twins, 5 year,
Oh,
like
wow.
I'm in an
Yeah.
Uber, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And she starts to tell me a story about how it's just her with her boys,
Yeah.
and they're 5, and they're
Yeah.
just struggling in school, and the school doesn't want them there, and they're sending them home all the time, and I was like, you know what? You just gotta love your kids
Yeah.
because they're just kids. So in this world, it will eat them up, right? And
Right.
as a mom, as a dad, just love them.
Yeah.
I mean, battle like hell on
Yes.
the side, but you love those kids when they come home because they're babies,
Yeah.
and even my kids, they're babies, like
So
they're
like
not,
28, 29.
but they are. It's just our job. You have to
Yeah.
hold them. Accountability is love. I
Yeah.
mean, so there's, but you just have to love them. Like, you shouldn't have done that. What could you have done differently?
Yeah.
And provide that safe space for them to really explore who they are and how to get through those moments. If you're grounded, we're not talking about it,
Yeah.
or, you label them as a bad kid, or I don't know, you just don't listen. They're not going to
Yeah.
come to you, and you're creating barriers to success for your kids, because then they're
Yeah.
going to have to unlearn that, right? They're going
Right.
to go have a relationship and somebody's going to say, "Didn't anybody ever talk to you in your life? Did your mother ever hug you?" It
Right.
really is it's just I really think it's just love. And
Yeah.
I know that seems really simple and cliche, but at the end of the day, you say I love you to your kids. Like tomorrow's another day. We
Yeah.
can get up and we can face it again tomorrow. And so that moment in the Uber this Sunday coming back, I was
Uh,
just like, you just love those babies. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like you go in there and don't let anybody else tell you that they know your kids better than you know your kids. They may have
No.
gone to school,
Yeah.
right? They went to
Right.
school. Yeah, they know your kids 6 hours a day. They don't know
Right.
your kids.
No.
So like you go in there and you tell them, this is what I want for my kids. You go home and tell them to knock it off, but that you
Right.
love them. But
Look, I'm
you
fighting
just
for you, but I need you to do better.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I think it really is just that simple. And it was that the beginning of the conversation that we had about connection.
Hmm.
The neighbor calling and saying that I was being naughty when I was a
Yeah.
kid next door. We just have to hold one another accountable.
Yeah.
You can still love your neighbor. It's okay to still love
Right.
your neighbor. It
Right.
is.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
No need
you
to
don't
go
have
to
to,
battle every time somebody says something about your kids.
no, because chances are they did it.
Yeah.
I know I did. I'm
I
like,
learned
I
that.
would
I learned
never,
that the
mom.
hard way. No, no, that child would never do that. Oh, you did that? Oh, okay.
Before I had kids, I was a teacher, and I
Yeah.
had this little girl who gave me the finger. She
Oh,
gave me the finger, which I think is hysterical because
yeah.
I'm like, okay, we're gonna work through this.
Right.
And so I'm like chuckling, and I called her mom, and she was like, Alicia would never do that. I'm like, I'm calling to tell you that she gave me the finger in the class, and she's
Oh,
actually going to stay with me, and we're going to talk about it, right?
yeah.
There's a good, proper use of the finger. It's not in class, like to your teacher. So, but before I had kids, I thought, oh, that woman is out of her mind. Well, when my little one got in trouble, I'm like, oh, he did? He definitely did. I knew by then. I knew. So, anyway, it's the love factor, it's accountability and love, and
Yeah.
accountability is love. I'm going to hold myself accountable the best that I can. I'm going to hold other people accountable, and people are uncomfortable with that.
Yeah. That's
You did this and it really impacted me negatively. It's okay to say. It's not an attack. We don't need to go fist fight in the street. We can,
right.
but we don't have to go
We
fist
don't
fight
need to.
just by saying I didn't like that. It didn't make
Yeah.
me feel good.
Allow me to say what I feel. It's okay.
There you go. And
Yeah.
it's the same with your kids.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
call me out. I call them out. I feel like they're calling me more out as I'm getting older.
Like, at first you're like, well, you to call me out. I'm the parent. You're not,
That's right. They don't think you've lived a life at all. They're like, you
right.
don't know what I'm talking about. Of course I don't.
So let me ask you this. I ain't just sitting here and I'm thinking, you're stepping into this executive director position. It's new to you. What's the biggest challenge you face with that? Because what is it? Imposter syndrome is there in many cases.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have that. I just
Yeah.
think, I mean, I do, I recognize that, I have a really close knit group of girlfriends. And so we
Yeah.
talk about a lot of stuff, and I have some great mentors. I think it's just the change, right? So I have a very upfront personality, as you've been able to tell. I don't necessarily hold back because I think we're just here for a short time,
Yeah.
for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
And we might as well say it. And I think in an industry like ours, it has a lot of history.
Mhm.
It's generational, and a
Yeah.
lot of things have just been done a certain way for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I am a change maker, and I'm pretty forceful about it because I think,
Yeah.
why not? So for
Yeah.
me, I'm not a horse racing person. I'm not tied to this industry in a way where I own horses. I don't know anybody who owns horses. I don't
Yeah.
train horses. I don't get up at 4 to go watch them train horses.
Right.
And I want to make sure at the end of the day that the individuals who work back there are taken care of. That is my only goal. It's what they hired me to do.
Yeah.
And so some of those changes and looking at the way we do things that could probably treat people better, take care of people better. If we want to say that we offer the most comprehensive services across the country, we better be doing it well,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And that change there have been some bumps in the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe sometimes I could say it softer. That might be, my
They probably look
area
at
of improvement, I could
they
say, and
probably look at you
softer.
and go, did Nancy just say
Well, listen, I'm 5'3", and people don't realize. They're like, I didn't, when I don't wear my heels, they're like,
that?
I didn't realize you were so short. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, because I have a big personality.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, definitely, I guess calling people out. I want people to
Mhm.
call me out though too, right? Like
Right.
my leadership team, I want them to come in and be like, you got to stop saying no, or you
Right.
got to listen more. I want, because
Yeah.
I too am evolving, and
Yeah.
I want to be the best leader I can be, human at the end of
Mhm.
the day that I can be,
Yeah.
mom. Um, but again, people are uncomfortable with that. So I
Yeah.
welcome it. I'm like, yeah, I said that. I did. I
Let me
did.
know. It's all
Yeah,
good.
I said it. I could have
Yeah.
said it differently. I would still say it,
Yeah.
but so I guess it's the change of like a real generational industry
Yeah, yeah.
that that they're really tied to, their identity is tied to that. And I
Yeah.
think that's where you get stuck, right? My
I
identity is tied to this marriage, or my identity is
yes.
tied to this job title, or my identity is tied to whatever. And it's like,
Right.
we're just here,
Yeah.
right? Like, let's just
Mhm.
try to be the best people we can be.
Yeah. I
So,
agree with you on that one. It's like you got to remember, I'm here temporarily. This is it. I
right.
can't get too connected with it. Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
This is how I'm going to respond. Let's move forward.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
this is how I feel about it. I don't have anything else to say. You want to live there, keep living. I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Same. So, it's funny. I had a conversation. I don't know if this is appropriate for your podcast, but I had a conversation with a
Well, we
worker.
have editing.
Super nice, like the nicest man. He's been
Yeah.
on the backstretch for 40 years. Just the trauma that he's experienced, and the addiction and the cycle. I've seen him clean. I've seen him, using. I've seen him clean again. I've seen him using. We just,
Yeah.
send him, and you can't do drugs on the backstretch, right? Because you're rubbing down live animals and they
Yeah.
could get a positive. And so this last round, nobody would tell him that they weren't um, canceling his gaming commission license. And so he was
Oh,
just kind of floating in this unknown, and he was unable to move forward. So he came in, and, I adore him as a
yeah.
human. I think what a cool story you have if you can just get out of your own way at some point.
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm sitting there with him, and he's like, I just don't understand. I think it's going to be okay. And I said, I'm going to tell you it's not okay. Right now
Yeah.
it's not okay. And I'm
Right.
going to tell you why. And he was like, I don't understand why. I said, it's the crack. It's the
Yeah.
crack. You can't do crack and work
Right.
here.
Right.
Nobody had said it to him, right? Like,
Yeah.
he just thought, oh, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to get clean. Um, so yeah, to his face, I said, it's the crack.
And
That's the
sometimes you
problem.
need that slap in the face, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he had to leave and go to another racetrack, and he
Yeah.
still texts my phone, like, I'm
Mhm.
trying to go to meetings. And
Yeah.
it's addiction is a hard place to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
um but it's not who they are, right?
Right.
They're a son, they're a daughter,
Yeah.
they just got into a bad place, and at some point I hope and pray that they can turn it around for themselves and for the people who love them.
Yeah.
But yeah, nobody had told him it was the crack that was the problem.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy. I'm like, you're a
Yeah.
nice guy. Everybody
Yeah.
loves you. But
Everybody's walking around on
I'm going to be honest with
eggshells,
you.
right? Yeah.
Guess
Like
what?
like, "Oh, well, I don't know what it is. I don't know why they're doing that to you." No, yeah, you gotta stop. You gotta
Yeah,
stop.
that's you're never going to
So,
be able to work here with that.
yeah.
So,
So one
um,
of one of the things I liked, in reading it, what does it say? You're taking care of the people who take care of the horses, right? That's the tagline?
caring for the
Yeah.
people who care for the horses. That's
Yeah.
right.
I love that because what does it say? Champions become champions by what happens in the dark, right? And it's all that work that's being put in back there that nobody else gets to see. They come to the track and they see the horse running around and they have no idea of what was going on back there. And without the work that you're doing and without the people that are back there, that could never happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's such an amazing place.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's probably the only place in the world you'll see the richest person, the wealthiest human,
Uh,
talking to one of the lower income earners in our country, and
yeah.
actually talking about what's going on and what they think is happening with the horse. And you don't see that
Yeah.
outside those gates. And the workers are so proud of the work that they do because again, I'm not out back touching horses. I'm not
Right.
rubbing horses, walking horses. I'm good. Like I see when they come in with the bites and horses don't bite like this. They bite and they grind, so they'll
Ooh.
grab you.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, they come in, I'm like, I'm actually all set with those animals. But
Yeah.
they're so proud of the work they do, and they are again, they're professionals. You
Yeah.
know, that not anybody can walk off the street and go back there and start doing the job that they do. But again, they do it
Yeah.
silently
Yeah.
behind the gates
Yeah.
in the dark, as you said.
Right.
And it's our job to celebrate them
Yeah.
and to make sure that they're taken care of. And hopefully, I mean, I know we're doing that. Not hopefully, we're doing that.
It sounds like you're doing a great
We're
job.
we're doing a pretty good
I
job. So
mean,
there are other programs across the country. So
mm,
California has a program where they do case management, medical services, dental, and vision.
yeah.
Separate program that does the mental health. We're like the only all-encompassing health and
Okay.
human services program. And then Kentucky has a program as well, but Florida has nothing.
Yeah.
The other tracks have nothing. So
Oh, wow.
when
They
they
need to call
come
you to get
to
one squared away, to get one
they
set up.
show up and they've been cutting their insulin in half. They've
Yeah.
not had their blood pressure medicine. I'm like,
Uh,
why didn't you call? Like, we would have gotten you a prescription in another state.
yeah.
So they come to us a lot of times in Saratoga in particular because they're
Yeah.
moving during this season in
Yeah.
crisis because they didn't take care of or they couldn't navigate the system. So in a lot of Latin American countries, they don't go to the doctor, they go to
Yeah.
the pharmacy. And so they'll go to the pharmacist and say, this is what's going on with me, and they get their prescription. Here, they
Yeah.
have to get insurance, go to a doctor, get a prescription, find the pharmacy, nobody talks to you there, pay
Right.
for it, and then take it. It's like the system is so much more difficult to navigate than just going to the pharmacy and saying, hey, this is what's going on with me, and they give you a med. So
Right.
a lot of education is happening. So when you
Okay.
leave us and you go to Florida, how are you going to find a soup kitchen? How are you going to get your meds filled?
Right.
How are you going to make sure that your diabetes are in check? We've had people go to Florida and drive around taking pictures of therapists' offices and say,
Okay.
can I go to this one? Can I go to this one? And then we
Oh,
make the referral when they're down there,
okay.
um, just to make sure that they're continuing that care.
So
But
you're with them. You're kind of like luminous.
yeah, I guess until about 9 p.m. and then I'm out. I'm like,
That's
I need
cool.
some rest.
Yeah, yeah. So you go around and you speak on nonprofit and building organizations and leadership?
I don't. I
You
don't.
don't? Okay.
No,
All
I
right.
don't. I mean, I've been on panels, right, about
Yeah.
what we do, and
Yeah.
I've spoken, but I don't. I mean, when I'm invited, I'll go and speak.
Yeah.
But we're busy. We're busy
Yeah.
doing the work. So
Yeah, yeah.
maybe the next path
Yeah, yeah.
when I'm out of here, we'll
All right.
see.
Well, that's
But
cool. Just
yeah,
checking, sometimes put things out there, you never know.
yeah. I actually put in an application for my PhD.
Oh, okay, cool, awesome.
So maybe when this is over, I'll pursue that at the
Yeah.
University of Albany. So,
Dr.
um,
Nancy
and then
Underwood.
yeah, that's right. And everybody will call me Dr. Mom or whatever. I will have earned that, and that will be
Yeah,
my title.
I love it. So where do you see things going for best?
So I'll tell you my three goals.
Okay.
That I want to accomplish. So the current best office at Belmont Park is in like a 1950s house. So in between the offices, there's like a giant pink tub.
Uh,
There's some random bathroom things, and it's not a true health and human service agency. So I
okay.
have never done this, but I wrote a $1 million capital project proposal and sent it to the state,
Nice.
and they granted us $500,000.
Sweet. High five.
Yeah, pretty pumped. I'm not a project manager, so I did tell
Yeah.
the board, like, after this, I'm out. Like, you're gonna have to get some construction people. I might have made some things up. I don't know.
It
And
sounds
then
good.
it did. I got it. They're like, this is a great project. The
Yeah.
state would love to get behind this. So, and NYRA, the New York Racing Association, agreed to donate the labor.
Nice.
So it's about a
Man.
$1.2 million project. The state's
Huge.
giving us 500,000. So
Nice.
that was my first goal, was to give the women and men who have worked for Best for all these years a proper place to do their services, right? A
Yeah.
proper place for people to come to their meetings or their groups or to see their counselor, not like in a windy staircase that somebody's
Right.
going to fall down. It's a liability. or the ceiling is leaking in one of the
Yeah.
offices. I accidentally broke the window in my operations
Oh,
director's
oh no.
office the other day. I was talking and I was like, "What's this?" And the window just went, Psh. I'm
Oh
like,
no. Yeah,
okay.
time to
Um,
replace it.
the second goal is sustainable funding. So
Okay.
um, we're a nonprofit, so we do a fair amount of begging, which is
Mhm.
fine. I think that a bit of that comes with the program, but I believe that basic human rights should be taken care of, and there should be less begging from the
Yeah,
industry. So I'm working on that currently. And so we operate on about a $2.2 million budget. I'd love to see us expand our programs,
right,
offer have a position for a psychiatric nurse practitioner to join us, so we're not outsourcing medication management because primary healthcare physicians don't do that kind of work.
right.
Um, and to make sure that the program can run long after I'm gone.
Long as
So
yeah, I like it.
long after, and that people know that they'll be taken care of. Like we want people to come to New York because to live, work, and race because they know that they'll be taken care of. And
Yeah,
how special is that, right? That you can work in an industry where your mental health is taken care of. And we're having conversations like, I'm worried about so and so. Can somebody go out on a wellness check with me? Or we're worried about their diabetes or their hypertension, or somebody had a heart attack and we want to make sure that they're up and able to continue working to support their family that's so important to them.
right.
And so the begging part gets a little bit old. I'm all for grants and writing those things, but I think that there should be a fair amount of like consistent funding that happens, and
Yeah,
that will
especially.
happen.
Yeah, I agree with you, especially when it
My
comes to mental health.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's my second goal.
yeah.
And then my third is to renovate the building in Saratoga to make it a true health and human service building as well, a hub
Okay.
for everyone.
Nice,
So, and
nice.
then
I
I'm
love
out.
it.
And
You're
then I'm
out.
out.
What's next? What do you see next?
I don't know. I mean, it's very exciting. We'll see. But
I
like
love
that's
it.
the thing about not being stuck, right? Like
Yeah,
you can do anything. You can do
yeah.
anything that you want to do. And so I've lived all over also, so I haven't always just lived in this area. So I was in Vermont. I lived in Spain for a little while. I lived in
Okay.
Utah, New York.
Oh wow.
So like I've traveled all over. And the one thing that I realized in traveling all over is that no matter where you go, you have to pay your bills, right?
Yes,
You have to buy your food,
those
and
bills.
it's like you want to be in a place where you love the scenery. Like I live in Lake George, New York. I don't know if you know where that is.
No.
It's north of Saratoga,
All
so it
right.
makes my commute to Long Island a little bit longer, but I've got this amazing beautiful lake here and
Okay.
surrounded by mountains, and it's just like peaceful, right?
Yeah.
But I've
Nice.
lived all over and I know now this is what I want. I just
I
want like a
like it.
peaceful place that I
Yeah.
can go walk downtown and see a lake. And um yeah, so I
The
mean, you can
mountains.
the mountains,
Yeah.
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 Not the ticks. I'm over the
Yeah.
ticks, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. 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 We
there's that
know.
one tick that now
Yeah.
you can't if you eat red meat, you die or something from this one tick.
Oh,
Google that.
I'm gonna check that one out. I didn't know anything about
That you
that.
can't eat red meat anymore.
I know,
It would
right?
ruin my life.
I know, right? The brisket would be, oh my gosh.
So
But I was thinking more of snakes. That's kind of a big thing for
I
me.
don't I, I don't see a lot of snakes.
Okay, cool.
Not a lot of
Good. All
snakes.
right, cool.
So I mean, yeah, it's pretty peaceful up here. So
Okay, cool.
um
So what you got coming up next?
so hopefully we are doing groundbreaking in the fall for the new
Yeah.
building.
All right.
Um we had Belmont Stakes, the last Belmont Stakes in Saratoga. Thank the little baby Jesus
Yeah, yeah.
because it's a longer sustained, larger population in Saratoga that the system, it's a small area,
Right.
um, has a hard time sustaining that. So um, Aqueduct closes forever
Okay.
the weekend of June 26th, 27th, and 28th in Queens. It'll
Really?
be no longer. That racetrack will be done.
Oh,
And
wow.
then we'll run the entire Saratoga meet, and then Belmont opens.
Yeah, yeah.
So the new Belmont,
They're gonna
which will
be
be
keeping
pretty
you
cool.
busy with that one, huh?
For sure. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So as we shut it down, what do you have? What would you leave? What would you want to leave the audience with?
I
Listeners.
think
What did I just do?
I don't know. What are you doing? Your camera moves when you talk.
Yeah, I saw that. It's something I did. I was helping my dad the other day, and I think I hit a button that I've got to go find what I hit.
So when you do this, it gets really close to your face, which I'm
Like,
glad it's not
oh,
happening on
his
my
head
side.
is huge. I'm
um, I think it's really just that connection, like true. Look at you. I hope you can. Oh, you just
sorry.
got close again. That's okay. I think it's human connection. It's
Yeah.
that loss of human connection. I really think that's what's happened in our
Yeah.
society. And I think if everybody just slows down and says hello, one of the funniest things is when you have people on your social media, right? They follow you on social media and then you see them in public and they don't say hello.
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
It's
so
like,
I go out of my way to go say hello. I'm like, hey, how are you? What's going on? Right? Because I'm like, you're not going to be on my stuff following it. Well, but
yeah.
it's that we've become comfortable with ignoring one another.
Yeah. I'm not,
We can't
that's
do it.
not me. I can't do that.
Obviously, I'm like, one cup of coffee, please.
Right.
Just please help me with one cup of coffee.
Every time I see you, how you doing? It's like, you just saw me 5 minutes ago.
It's nice. I think that's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
So I mean, and I think when you come to Saratoga, you'll
I'm
see. I
coming.
mean, I really do say hello to everyone
Yeah.
and legitimately say, how are you? And I think that's one of the things that makes the connection different for me.
Yeah. I
So,
love it. Well, Nancy Underwood, thank you for joining me. I greatly appreciate the opportunity of having to connect with you again. Like I said, we had a great time at
yeah,
the Preakness, and so thank you for sharing your journey and your story and how you operate as the executive director and mom, and soon to be Dr. Mom.
that's right. You got it. I'm winning.
You are you
Can't
winning.
stop me.
Well, so thank you again. Like I said, you truly are a momentum shifter. I want to thank you for joining us. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show. Thank you for joining us. Until next week, just keep pushing because you have the ability to rise up, rebuild, and redefine what's possible. You just got to take a look at what's going on. How can you move forward? Until next week, take care.